Week's episode of Play by Play. I am your host, Andy Horton, alongside my co host, Jared Bergstrom. And, well, Jared, this is episode number 134. And we kind of missed a week or so with some studio conflicts and just stuff that we couldn't really avoid going on, just out of our control, really. So we're back. So that means we got to recap the college football championship. National championship, I guess I should put it that way. And then got to get to playoff action. We're kind of getting to the end of offseason baseball. At least it seems like for the Reds. They might make another move or so, but we haven't talked to Reds in a long time. So since they made a move yesterday going out and getting Austin Hayes, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that and the rest of the moves that they made over the offseason. And then I don't know what else. We might finally get into some basketball. I'm not sure, but we'll see where we get. So without further ado, I guess we're going to start off in the college football national championship. And I guess go ahead, Mr. Buckeye.
I'm happy. I'm glad that Ohio State was able to, and it didn't look like it in the end because Ohio State played softly and ended up letting them come back, get it to within one possession, but ended up holding on in at the end with that huge third down conversion to Jeremiah Smith. That really put it out of reach to put it or to give them the chance to kick that field goal to put it out of reach.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, it was a heck of a game. Definitely a lot more entertaining than what you would have thought after the first half, because Notre Dame, they came out, and on that first drive they used
9 minutes.
9 minutes and 45 seconds to go down and score, and it seemed as though, it might be just a almost like a quick game, I guess you could say, because how much they were able to run the clock there in the first on the first drive. Ohio State goes right back down, and I mean, what did they score in? Something like 6 minutes, just on the other side of the second.
Just on the other side of the second quarter starting.
Right. And then after that, their defense was really able to clamp down on Notre Dame. You could see on the broadcast going up and down the sideline, Riley Leonard looked like he'd been through war.
That first drive, he looked like 9 carries on the first drive just for him. I figured if they were going to try to do that, he was not going to make it through the game.
Right, it was just unsustainable, and he even got hurt and missed a couple of plays. Right, yeah. And the backup, I do not remember, but he actually played well in the couple of snaps. Steve
Angeli.
Yeah.
Angeli.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he was actually 0 for 1, but he handed the ball off, and they had their most successful runs outside of Riley Leonard of the night right there. But that was in the second half after they started to make a push. I was real conflicted on this one because everyone knows I hate the Buckeyes. And I'm not a Notre Dame fan by any means, but I don't hate Notre Dame like a lot of other people do. So I would have ordinarily just been completely on Notre Dame's side. But then I was talking to, I told you about this, our buddy over at Fairmont, Dave, and he told me that he was going to be at the game, and I was like, man, if he's spending all that money to go down there, and I know he didn't spend the money, but his family did. If y'all are spending all that money for you to go down there, and you'll be there in person, I guess I might have to root for you. And at least most of the game, I was like in the middle, right? I was like, all right, whoever wins, wins. But then once they started to make the comeback, I was like, dang it, man! I really want Notre Dame to win this. This would be crazy if Ryan Day found a way to lose this game, with the more talent, the deeper team, and like, man, I'm a big Marcus Freeman fan. He made a couple of big mistakes in this game. Going for it in the first half, it was like on their side of the field, right? Like that.
I think it was like their 45.
I don't necessarily hate it, but it wasn't a good play call,
right,
which was a big problem. And then their defense was just getting rolled over at that point. And then in the second half, when they kicked the field goal, I was scratching my head. But then it would have been okay if you would have made if you would have scored the touchdown, the possession after the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
But you missed the field goal, and then you don't score the touchdown on the next one. Like, there was a lot of
Questionable.
huge missed opportunities there, and it's just rough to watch. As someone, I mean, I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but I couldn't imagine being a Notre Dame fan, just watching your team have so many opportunities. I mean, and just not be able to convert. I mean, was it an interception in the red zone, or was it turned over on downs? Missed field goal, and then it was downs. And that was actually the possession before that they turned it over on downs. My bad. And, like Ohio State, they made a couple of mistakes that should have allowed for them to be able to get back in it. But just, I don't know. They were kicking themselves, like,
right.
Really. And just, they made it a lot harder on themselves than it should have been. I mean,
I knew
really.
Leonard was going to be a factor, but I think they tried to force him too much too early. And, I mean, you just tried they didn't try to build anything off of it. I mean, you could see if they weren't running, Ohio State was rushing 4 and 5 and really being able to put pressure on Leonard and on the line or on Notre Dame's offensive line, and they were getting through, not necessarily hitting Leonard and all that, but getting their hands up, batting balls down, and making him alter the throws. And they were short. I don't know how many short passes he threw. Leonard did, but it was insane.
Well, yeah, and like the whole after that first drive, the whole first half, they picked up -5 yards, 1 yard, 7 yards. They picked up 3 yards the rest of the first half after that first drive.
Jeez.
Like, they weren't able to get anything going through the air, on the ground. Ohio State just completely locked them up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I feel like they might have taken a lot of Riley Leonard's juice out early, and then. I mean, they came back and they played a lot better in the second half. They had a bunch of long drives. I mean, 80 yards, 70 yards,
Right.
75 yards. But the rough part is 2 of those were a touchdown, and then the other one was a missed field goal. And then, yeah, sure, they also take time. I mean, they were actually able to move the ball pretty well,
Oh, okay.
like pretty quickly on those. I mean, the 3 drives combined was less than 11 minutes.
Oh.
On their 3 most successful drives. But, they just, like I said, they set themselves back a lot. And then, like, the penalties didn't help either. I mean, both teams were kind of bit by them at certain points. But, I guess they only had 3 for 30. But I guess the 3 just felt like they came at the worst times. And, yeah. Also seeing Penn State's offensive line get taken advantage of for a good portion of the night, like they were, that's weird to see. Just because, did I say Penn State again? Notre Dame, freaking. But they year in year out have one of the best offensive line units in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that because the guys that they send to the league,
They're top 10 picks.
So it was just that Ohio State front. There's a lot of good players over there. And they were really deep, and yeah, a lot to handle for Notre Dame. So yeah, I'm not gonna like rag on Notre Dame too much because I know you asked me about it before the show, but after how they played in the first half, I feel like even though they made a lot of mistakes in the second, they played admirably, and they got to it was against a beat up Georgia team that was not a Georgia team that we're used to seeing with a new quarterback who hadn't hardly played.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a Penn State team that can't win big games, and in my opinion, only beat Boise State because Boise State played one of their worst offensive games of the season at the most important time in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to say that I felt like their road was like the hardest gauntlet in the world to get to the final, but they did win big games against good teams. And like I said, even though, and I feel like the Buckeyes were trying to choke that game away in the fourth quarter specifically, it just, I feel like they acquitted themselves pretty well. Like they were leaving it all out there for sure.
Mm.
So
I don't have much else to say either. I mean, I hate that Ohio State had to, lose that game to Michigan. It felt like to actually wake them up to do that run. I feel like if they would have beat them, I don't know if it's the same mentality they got going into the run.
No, not at all. Not at all, because I feel like Ryan Day knew that he was coaching for his job. Because,
He had to at least the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. At least had to take care of things at home against Tennessee. And I mean, if they would have lost in the second round, that would have been what, Texas? Oregon. Yeah, if he would have lost in the second round to Oregon, I wouldn't have been happy about it. But Oregon. But yeah, definitely had to take care of business early in the playoffs in order to maintain his job, and they did. I don't know if what happened with the play calling. I don't know what exactly changed, but hey, they decided that they were going to throw it to the most talented players on the field, or the most talented player on the field,
Right.
and things started to work. And then that's why things almost fell apart there in the game, because they stopped. He
had 3 targets in the second half, I think, in the Notre Dame game.
I think it was like one before the big the big play down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
It was only one in the second half, and that was with 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, 2 minutes. I don't quite remember. That was with time running out.
And then one he tried to feed, and that was the interception Howard threw.
Right.
Force it.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, once again, they kind of got in like a lull in the play calling, and
you can't go conservative, and even if you're up,
not in college football.
No, teams have showed this year that they can score and score quickly.
It's not just this year.
True.
We've just seen throughout history, college football. I mean, you score so fast. There's a reason why you'll get shootouts that are 55 to 45. In college football, it's because there's some really talented players on each team, and if all of those players are on offense, then you're just gonna have a track meet, because a lot of those defenders won't be able to keep up, or won't be able to make the plays. So. Yeah. I guess that's probably it. Just about it.
Yeah, I don't think anything else is noteworthy talking about. And we'll start to talk about the draft probably in a couple weeks as we get ready for that in April.
Yeah, I'm always looking at that. But I guess before we move on, maybe I'm looking for ESPN or somebody's way too early top 25.
Okay.
Just because why not leave it off there on what was a very fun college football season. And hey, I've harkened back to it a couple of times, but I asked and demanded chaos the last 3 weeks of the regular season, and we got the chaos that I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So things were definitely a boatload of fun. All right, so the one I'm looking at right now, it's actually this is from the 24th, and it is from the NCAA. So let's see who they got. Where's the list? What the heck? Maybe not. Maybe we're not going to use this.
See if I can find one too. Then.
All right, let's try the CBS Sports.
All right, let me look at the CBS.
So okay, here we go. So Texas at number 1.
Really?
Or wait a minute. Hang on. Yeah, Texas number 1. Oh man, they're just like Ohio State, just amazing recruiting classes year in, year out. They just reload. Let's see, Texas number 1. Oh, and did you know that you guys play Ohio? You guys play Texas?
Is it week 1 or week 2? I know it's early.
It's August 30th.
So that's week 1 probably.
That it doesn't get any bigger than that, and it's in the shoe. So. You gonna get a ticket?
I'm gonna try.
That'll be a heck of a game. So Georgia, number 2, it looks like. Number 3, Miami. Wow, that's surprising because they don't play defense. Number 4, Ohio State. Number 5, Penn State. Number 6, Notre Dame. Number 7, Oregon. Number 8, Clemson. 9, Tennessee. 10, LSU. 11, South Carolina. 12, SMU. 13 BYU, 14 Alabama. Wow, I'm surprised to see them that low.
That's low. I mean, that's
Yeah.
got to be the lowest since before Saban took over that they've been.
Yeah, I would say so. 15 Illinois, 16 Arizona State, 17 Ole Miss. All right, now I'm starting to feel disrespected. And we're like, I get it.
You guys 16th?
I get it. Now I'm still not seeing us.
Oh.
Ole Miss was 17th. 18 is Florida. 19, Iowa State. Where's the rest of the list? What the heck? It's missing like the bottom 5 teams, 6 teams.
Okay, I found one on ESPN. I'll text it to you if you want to look at that one. And you guys were on that list.
Oh, there's the rest of them. Okay.
Oh.
Missouri at 20, Georgia Tech at 21, 22, Texas A&M, Indiana at 23, 24, Texas Tech, 25, UNLV. Oh, I'm so disrespected. That's an abomination. The fact, like, I get it. Ashton Genty is amazing, and he's going to be, where's Dallas? 10 or 11? He's probably going to be a top 10 or 11 pick. But that's still, I mean, to act like he's the only reason we were good.
How much else are you losing? State losing.
I mean, we are losing.
Your quarterback gone?
No. He's a freshman. I mean, we did lose the 5-star guy, but well, I'm not too worried about that. And we lost our best edge rusher, and we lost a couple of wide receivers. Like, I'm not trying to act like we didn't lose anybody, but we have other dudes in the wings waiting to take their spots that I'm pretty confident in. I like how ESPN's got this because it got the key losses and the key returners. So key losses, obviously Ashton Genty, guard Ben Dooley, wide receiver Prince Strawn, which he just left and went to USC. Ahmed Hassain and Shea Oladipo. And 4 out of the 5 are all going to the draft. So everybody that we lost, like I said, is pretty much going to the league except for Prince Strawn. He's, I don't know, USC probably paid him a lot of money to come and play for them. And then key returning players, Maddox Madsen, quarterback, tight end, Matt Lauder, which that is my boy. Probably my second favorite player on the team behind Ashton Genty. I really love that guy. Offensive tackle Cage Casey, who he's going to be an NFL player one day. Very good. Defensive tackle Braxton Feely. Defensive end Jaden Virgin Morgan, who's a freshman last year, had 8 or 9 sacks. Linebacker Marco Notriani. Safety Ty Benefield, and then Zion Washington, another safety. And all those dudes, I think, are got plenty of room to improve. I was not a big Maddox Madsen fan at all this year because I just felt like we might have had someone who was better, but it seems as though that wasn't the case considering, I'm not trying to take a shot at Malachi Nelson, but considering he went to UTEP. And I kind of like the way that Dirk Coder said it. When he left, he was like, well, what has UTEP done? How much success has UTEP had? And that should kind of tell you what that means about the decision to go there. How good really was he? I don't know. It just seems like he might have been overrated by the scouts. Like out of high school. Was that your
head coach that said that?
That was the offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, no. What's his name? Spencer Danielson wouldn't say anything like that. He's too nice of a guy. But
Cutter, he used to be the coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
He Tampa. He's actually from Idaho, from like the Boise-ish area, and he coached Boise State before he went to the NFL.
Okay.
And then he's after he left the NFL, he's come back and kind of been an advisor for a long time. And our offensive coordinator got stolen late in the process last year by Kentucky, and so it was like too late to get a new guy, and so he was like, I'll step up from being an advisor to being the coordinator just for a year to as a stopgap.
All you gotta do is just play calls, turn around, hand it to Genty.
And the guy was a great coordinator and a great coach, like, to begin with. So, like,
he just didn't have
love it.
pieces in Tampa to be successful.
Yeah,
and
no, for sure.
Jameis Winston, who throws 35 interceptions and 47 touchdowns.
Damn, aggressive. And then we got dudes that can be able to replace Ashton Genty as well. Like, I'm not saying that one of them will do the job or that they'll even be able to be as good as a pair. But Sire Gaines was a freshman this year, got hurt early in the season, and just barely missed coming back for the Fiesta Bowl.
Okay.
If he would have had like one more week, then he would have been able to come back and play in that game. And then Jambreeze Dubar, he's known by Boise State fans as Breezy Dubar. Breezy because he's got elite speed out of the backfield. But those two guys will share the load, trying to take over for Ashton Genty, and the combination of them, they should do a pretty good job replacing him. Won't be anything like Ashton Genty, obviously, but they're a couple of good rushers. So yeah, not too worried about losing him.
They got your football schedule out yet? So who you guys play? I'm pulling it up now.
Pretty sure.
At USF. Hey, we could go down for that game. My grandparents let us stay at the house. That's in Tampa.
Bro, don't tempt me.
And then you're home for Eastern Washington. You guys play Notre Dame next year in South Bend.
I know. Yeah. No, I've known about that one. We go to that one. That one will be expensive, though.
Yes, it will.
I'm going to probably get in cheap at USF.
That all they have is just 4 games listed?
No, hang on.
I was on the actual Boise State website.
Because I know the whole schedule. Give me a minute.
Okay,
I've seen it before.
Here we go. I got Air Force, Colorado State, Fresno State, New Mexico, UNLV, at Nevada, at San Diego State, and at Utah State. You guys beat Notre Dame. I mean, you guys should. I mean,
that's only what, 9 games? I miscount.
12.
12. Oh, okay. Yeah. UNLV will probably be good again. I expect Fresno to be better than what they were this year. And it's Notre Dame's a big one. We can knock them off early.
Let's see. You said
set us up for big success in the future.
You said
for the rest of the
Texas
season.
was number 1 next year. Let's look at
I think that's what I saw on the way too early.
So Texas is at Ohio State, San Jose.
Oh, San Jose, please. That would be incredible. Going into the new Pac-12, taking down the best team in the country week 2. Let's do it, baby.
Is that formed next year or the year after?
The year after.
Okay. Then they host UTEP, Sam Houston. Then they're at Florida, the Red River rivalry, at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, Vandy, at Georgia, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. So they don't have to play Alabama the first 2 years of joining the conference.
Yeah, they played them the 2 years before they did, so made up for it. They got into it early.
Just look at Ohio State's. So Ohio State opens with Texas. Ooh, Grambling. And then our Ohio team, we play Ohio at Washington, Minnesota, at Illinois, at Wisconsin, Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and Michigan.
Oh, my gosh.
That Penn State game's going to be interesting, and I'm going to try to go to that one.
Oh, and that's here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. You guys got an easy schedule next year outside of Michigan at home.
No, we're away.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh.
Outside of Michigan at home.
Okay.
Oh, but speaking of, because you kind of mentioned it a little bit about the Pac-12, about the new Pac-12, it's starting to kind of look like, and I've been expecting this the whole time, it's starting to kind of look like UNLV might end up actually coming over and not staying in the Mountain West. And that's huge, just because then have the LA or the Vegas market, and then I don't know. I don't like the idea of having all of the championship games there, because it's an automatic home field advantage for UNLV. But that's what people would want to do. Nah, man. I still want the championship game up on the blue. That's where championship games belong. But I just can't wait for that conference. I feel like I've heard a lot of rumblings about Texas State coming in, too. That would be huge. Not that they're like the greatest school, but they do have good football, pretty good basketball program as well. And they have 40,000 students. They can fill up stadiums. They can probably travel pretty well. So that'd be another team that can brings in a good amount of revenue, help build the conference. And I'm still hanging on to hope about Memphis and Tulane. I feel like the more that this conference gets built, the more that'll continue to put pressure on those teams to maybe move over. And then, that would be, outside of the actual Power Four, that would be a really good conference. And frankly, you take Clemson and Florida State out. I mean, yearly they were awful this year, but generally they're pretty good. You take Clemson and Florida State out, and I feel like it's probably a better conference than that. If you have Memphis, Boise State, UNLV, Tulane, Texas State, Washington, and Oregon State.
Washington State.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Washington and Oregon State, like the two of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you can take Washington back.
It's not like it's the world's greatest conference, but that's a bunch of programs. And then I also forgot to say Fresno and San Jose. That's a bunch of programs that try to compete and want to be better. And then on the basketball side, all those programs pretty much have good basketball teams too. And then you add in Gonzaga, and I mean that's a 4 or 5 bid a year team, bid team
conference
a year. Yeah, with all the talent that's out there, Pac-12 After Dark be back in full swing. Be a lot of fun, man.
Gonna stay up even later to watch Gonzaga games then?
Yep.
No, just don't let Hawaii in, because those games.
That's
suck.
fine. That's fine. Hawaii is just a dead weight. They don't produce any money.
All right, so now are we done with college football?
I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so moving over to conference championship weekend, because I feel we kind of talked about it the weekend before. So were you surprised by the outcome of either of these games? Or is there a game you want to start with specifically?
Hang on, I'm still trying to get over there.
Hmm.
You said conference championship?
Yeah.
No, we can do either side. I don't really care.
Yeah, we'll start with the NFC then. That was just Washington. I don't know what happened to Washington.
Well, wait a minute. Did we actually get to talk about the playoffs the playoffs from the week before? Because we were out. I don't think we did.
Oh, that's true. We'll go back.
So we can, because there's not a ton of games there that I want to talk about, but I definitely do want to at least talk about a little bit of the Bills Ravens and the Lions Commanders.
I got one thing to say about the Texans Chiefs.
Okay.
I guess we can just say it. I'm sure you saw it. If not, I probably sent it to you.
Maybe not. We'll see. I was busy all weekend.
The two Texans players that knocked each other out of the game, and
No.
they threw the flag on them for unnecessary roughness on Mahomes, because Mahomes slid under it and they smacked each other.
Oh, I don't think I saw the play, but I heard people talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you?
Not saying that would have changed the outcome of the game, but they ended up scoring on that drive that put them up 23-14.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Not saying it would have changed the outcome, because C.J. Stroud was so inconsistent, A, in that game, it felt like, and B, in the whole season. But, I mean, you're giving the Chiefs free points at that point.
Yeah, well, and it's just so frustrating when, it might not be the case, but it just seems like they get all the calls, or at least in the crucial moments and important, games. It always goes their way.
Yep.
And that was just another instance. So, the Bills, Ravens, man, he wasn't the only one to make mistakes. He made a couple of big
He
ones
made
there
the
in the fourth
biggest
quarter.
one.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, I think we are talking about Mark Andrews.
Yes.
Yeah. The fumble in the fourth quarter, and then dropping the 2-point conversion, which would have tied the game with how much time was it? It was not a lot.
Just over a minute, I think.
Just over a minute to go. Yeah. He's been one of their best players for half a decade.
Since he's been there.
Yeah, like half a decade. And
number one receiver target at the tight end spot, yeah. So
and just drop. Ooh, that's rough. And I think he dropped another big one in the playoffs like a year or so ago. I think I saw a picture.
He did, yeah.
A picture or like videos of someone put him back to back, and it was like, man, he just can't get out of his own way in the big spots.
Find it.
But it sucks for such a great player.
Mm-hmm. And it was a game, it went. I mean, it never really seemed like either team had a real hold on the game, or it was leaning one way or the other, because it just so back and forth the whole game. And I feel like the weather kind of maybe had a little bit to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not much, but I mean, Josh Allen didn't have any touchdowns passing. Let me see if he had any rushing.
Yeah, he had 2.
Okay.
But he didn't like run for a lot of yards. He had 20 rushing yards.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was just able to get into the end zone. But like as big as those 2 drops were, obviously, I still can't put all the blame on Mark Andrews, because they got 416 yards. Okay, the Buffalo only had 273. They had outgained them by so much. Lamar Jackson had over 100 more passing yards than Josh Allen. He literally doubled him up on passing yards. Josh Allen had 150 or had 127, and Lamar Jackson had 254. That's literally double.
Mm-hmm.
He doubled him up in passing yards, and they just weren't able to convert in a lot of situations, I guess. Were they inefficient on fourth down? Because that was another game. I was busy all of that weekend, so I missed some stuff.
No, they were 7 for 10 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down.
I wonder where the penalties came though.
5 for 43.
5 for 43, exactly. So, yeah.
Oh well, 2 fumbles lost and an interception.
Oh, who was the other fumble? Was that one also Lamar? Yep.
He had both.
Yep. And that's another one of those situations where, Lamar kind of having some issues in the playoffs and in big-time elimination games, and you see him come to fruition with a couple of bad turnovers. I mean, he did make the plays to be able to tie it up, and he found Andrews open there. But also, if you don't have those 2 turnovers, how much are you up?
Right.
So, and that was a crazy stat that I heard in the Bills game. The Bills won the turnover battle every single game this season. Every single one. That's crazy. But then I guess after that, Lions and Washington. I kind of felt like this was going to happen, and I was so sad. I ended up turning it off before it was over, just because it hurt my heart watching the Lions lose like that.
And yeah, Buffalo won the turnover battle in the last game too against Kansas City. So they did every game this year. They won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I kind of felt like the Lions. I felt the injuries were going to catch up to them more than I thought that Jared Goff was going to play like the rookie in this situation and not Jaden Daniels. I mean, was it 4 interceptions?
It was 3.
3.
And he had a fumble.
Okay.
And just one of the passes he just didn't put quite enough on. One of them he put a little too much on. And it was just like he was off by a half step here and there in a couple different spots, and every single time it just cost him big time. Mm-hmm. It's rough because I'm a big Jared Goff fan. And I mean, everyone knows I've been rooting for the Lions for 2 freaking years now, and ah, what a way to lose it. And but like I said, it just kind of felt like it was gonna happen because I don't know, like all the injuries and they just couldn't get stops on defense. And I mean, they had 521 yards of offense, but they gave up 481 yards of offense on the other end. You know, like they just weren't able to get stops, like ever. I mean, actually, I guess they were able to get their fair share of stops on third down, but then on fourth down, the Washington was 4 of 12 on third down. They were 3 of 4 on fourth down. So when you're going for it that often, and when you're just scoring, you know, every time that you get into range,
they were 4 for 4 in the red zone. Detroit was 3 for 6. You're leaving at least 9 points on the board. If you minimum 3 field goals, that's only a 5-point game then, and then you can change your play calling style a little bit. Instead of being down it was almost 2 scores the whole second half, it seemed like.
Yeah, and that was just another one of those situations where, you know, the Lions, they were in the position to be able to make the right plays, but when you put so much pressure on your offense to be able to have to go out and score every single time, and it kind of sucks to blame the defense, because it's just like they just ran out of dudes.
Right.
I think I saw at one point they had 22 dudes on IR. That is crazy.
If not more.
That is
insane.
Like 22? That's literally a first and a second string defense. I mean, so there's only so much that they can do there. And, you know, you can tell that, like, teams around the league didn't hold it against Aaron Glenn. Frickin', he got a job so fast, right?
He's
with the Giants, right?
Jets,
yeah. Well, I mean, but everyone knew that Ben Johnson, if he wanted a job, was gonna get a job.
Right.
And, you know, I questioned a little bit how much people would take away from Aaron Glenn because of the
injuries.
Because of all of the injuries. But people were just like, nah. Obviously, he's a great coordinator, a great coach. He just, you know, what do you do when you're down 2 starting defenses?
Hope to not lose by as much as or more than what they did.
You just have the best offense in the league, the best offensive line in the league, and just outscore people. And they did that all season long. But, you know, they even scored 31 points in this game.
Right.
It just, they couldn't get the stops at the most crucial times. So, boo. But next year is a new year. Hopefully it's a Lions-Bengals Super Bowl. That would be a dream. But we'll see what happens.
And then now moving over to conference championship, that's why I picked Washington to win. I figured with the momentum that they had, and Jaden Daniels, I mean, goes on the road his first 2 playoff games, wins in 2 tough places to win, and I figured he could continue that into Philly. But no, they couldn't. They couldn't get out of their own way. It seemed like at least in the first half, and then the third quarter or fourth quarter, they just started turning it over again.
Well, you're just asking an awful lot out of a rookie. An awful lot out of a rookie for him to be able to go to the Super Bowl in his first year. And I'm actually glad that they didn't make it, because I feel like there's no chance they would have beaten the Chiefs. 0% shot. Because, you know, they're just so young. Like a lot of their crucial players are super young and inexperienced. Whereas the Eagles, they've been there, they've done that, and
2 years ago.
And it's like the pro Bulldogs, you know. Like they got so many dudes from Georgia in there, and that's just scary. Like all the Georgia guys they got, because they're all good, they're all incredible athletes, and it's just lacing their defense. And you just see how good they are, and then that doesn't even count like any of the corners, you know, between Slay and Cooper DeJean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, corner/safety, whatever the hell position he plays. I don't know.
He's everywhere on the field.
He does a lot, yeah. They're just so talented. And I even forgot that they got Josh Sweat now. Another dude up there. He's a defensive lineman, right? Or linebacker. Yeah, it's probably edge rusher. Yeah, another super talented dude. They just got so much depth. And then on the offensive and the defensive line, like, I feel like
Is Lane Johnson ever going to retire?
No. It's got to be like 1A, 1B with like Detroit and Philly, like offensive line, right? Like, who's better? I don't actually know, but they're both incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And they never lose a touch. I'm sure you saw the video where or if you watched the whole game, because I wasn't able to watch the whole game, but I was able to see enough important parts where they were trying to do the tush push to get into the end zone.
Yeah.
And they jumped off sides like 4 times
in a row.
They're just trying to get him.
Washington has been advised that at some point the referee can award a score if this type of behavior happens again.
And
the referee goes, we will award a touchdown if they keep continuing to do this.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah. No, they didn't award it. I think they ended up getting the touchdown.
Yeah,
anyway,
they did, but I didn't know they could do that.
I didn't either. It's like, we're just making up rules as we go along, it seems like. It's like, whose line is it anyway?
And he said, they're not going to let you get in the end zone? Fine, we'll just give it to
them.
Well, at some point, half the distance to the goal,
means
there is
nothing.
no distance.
No.
Like,
I mean, you're getting out that Gene Steratore index card. But no, that was one that's definitely a first for me. We will just award it. Okay, then just do it again and quit wasting the time then.
Yeah, see, I missed that because I didn't see that part of the game. I saw someone sped it up, like, and they put like the it's kind of like clown music, da 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 da, circus music. There you go. That's what I meant. But yeah. So that was rough because I also rooted for Jaden Daniels all year long. I thought he was going to be really good out of college, and I didn't think he was going to be this good though.
Right,
He was awesome all year long. Didn't have the best game in this one, but hey, he's a rookie and he'll just get better and better. I just hope he doesn't have the big slump like
Stroud did.
Yeah, CJ Stroud did this year because it was rough to watch at times. Zach Ertz had a hell of a game. I mean, 11 catches for 104 yards. He was really the only one that was doing a lot out there.
I don't think he's had a game like that since he was with Philadelphia.
It's very possible. He's getting up there, man. He's 34, so I wonder how much longer he's going to be around. They're going to have to either John Bates is going to have to step up, or he's going to.
I didn't even know who their backup tight end was.
Only reason why I know is because he's from Boise State.
Oh.
So either John Bates is going to have to step up, or they're going to have to go and find another guy because obviously Jane Daniels likes throwing to his tight ends.
There's security blankets for young quarterbacks.
That's for sure. For old quarterbacks too.
Yeah, true.
I mean, Brady and Gronk. I mean, Peyton and Julius
Thomas.
Yeah, that was a throwback. He was
Dallas
fun.
Clark.
He was fun. Yeah, Dallas Clark. There you go.
Or back to Indy. Ugh.
Kate Otten.
Oh, my God.
All sorts of good ones. Anyways.
Now to the AFC side?
I guess.
I don't really want to. I don't want to keep talking about Kansas City winning.
May just find a way. Or somebody finds a way. I don't know who. But at the same time, as annoying as it is that it just seems like they get the calls at the perfect moments, just the right calls for them to win the most important games at the most important moments. Even as frustrating as that is, it's also like, I don't know. Maybe who's the Bills coach? Dorsey?
Sean McDermott.
Oh,
Dorsey was
the OC. Yeah.
Now it's Joe Brady.
It's almost like Sean McDermott, and maybe he didn't watch the Ohio State-Michigan game because he was busy, doing his own game prep. But it's almost like he didn't watch the Ohio State-Michigan game, Like, Ohio State just kept running into a wall and kept running into a wall and kept running into a wall, and it did not work, That's why they lost, and,
all you gotta do is take one
Josh Allen is so great. So great. Why when you just keep running in the same spot and it's not working, why don't we, a read option would have ripped that apart. You put
And it did when they did it.
James Cook or one of the running backs out there, or one of the wide receivers out there on a read option, and you get guys in motion, and you have some creative play calling, or like, was it the Chiefs who did that double pitch? Or excuse me, it was a handoff and then the shuffle pass. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Maybe we can go find it and like
I'll look for it.
put it over in post. That was one of the most creative plays I've seen in my entire life. I loved it. Why don't you have something like that to mix it up and catch the defense off guard? Instead, we're just going to line up when they have 5 guys in between the guards. When Kansas City is either they were either stuffing the middle or they were stuffing the left side because they said on the broadcast that's where Josh Allen likes to run it the most. I'm assuming that's the strongest side of their line, and so that's where they like to get the push. And at one point, I literally saw between the center and the guard, I saw 5 defensive or between the center and the tackle on the left side of the line, I saw 5 defensive linemen for Kansas City, and they ran it right there. There's a giant hole. I mean, they can't block up everywhere. What if you just flip the play call? Like, there'll be 2 guys, maybe 3 guys on that side of the line, and you have Josh Allen. He's the world's best running back, you know? It was frustrating because they easily could have won that game. But they got the lead, and I don't know. I don't want to say they took the gas off, their foot off the gas, because I still feel like they were trying to score and stuff. They just couldn't get things done in the crucial moments. And, part of it goes to the preparedness of the Chiefs. You know, they've been in these situations so many times that they never get flustered.
7th straight AFC Championship game.
But at the same time, it's like, how are you going to keep making these mistakes? I love Josh Allen. And they were even good on 4th down. They were 4 of 6. But the 2 they missed were so big.
Oh, the one they missed. Did you watch the whole game?
At least 90% of it. Yeah.
There was one that they missed, and I think it was in the third or is either towards the end of the third quarter or at the beginning of the fourth, where they went, and you could tell by the line that they had right down the line that Allen got the ball like on that side. Ref comes in and moves it back behind the line of a bad spot.
Well, so the ref at the top and the ref at the bottom, they were in different, because the ref at the bottom, he stayed in the same spot, and the ref at the top, he moved back and adjusted for it. Yeah, I thought he got it.
Everybody thought.
I thought that multiple angles.
You got Gene Steratore
showed it
in the booth, and he said he got it, and they didn't.
Yeah, that one was a little fishy. I was talking to my buddy today. Earlier, he's a Broncos fan, and
so he hates the Chiefs.
Oh, he hates the Chiefs so bad, and he's like, man, I'm not even watching it. I was like, maybe that's what happens. Maybe just so many people don't watch it that they're like, all right. And I don't think it's rigged. Okay, I want to be clear about that. I don't think it's rigged, but it does seem like at times there is some funny business, and if the ratings drop by 5-6 million people because I'm so sick of the Chiefs and all and the Kelseys and Taylor Swift and all the blah, 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 blah. If people are just sick of it. And, I am as big of an Andy Reid fan as they come, right? For not ever being actually a fan of his teams. I love Andy Reid. I love that guy. He's just a big, lovable football dude, in my opinion. From all the videos I've ever seen, he's always fun and everything. But even he's starting to get old with the whole bundle-rooski. Oh, stop.
He did one commercial.
Stop.
They're the ones who play it all the time.
I don't like it. I don't like it, okay? But if just enough people don't watch, then maybe the funny business goes a little bit against them next year. I don't know. I just hope that Philly can beat them, because I know that you hate Philly's fan base.
I hate Philly and the
but
fans
I
in the city.
am so, and I can't believe it's gotten to this point, because I was a Patrick Mahomes fan when he came up, like when they let Alex Smith go. I was like, wow, that's crazy, because everyone liked Alex Smith. But at the same time, I watched the final game of the season, and I was like, he looked really good. And then he came out, and he's balled ever since. But, man, they're just getting tiresome.
They're this
Like, I'll never hate Patrick Mahomes. I hate the treatment he gets. Like, and did you see how someone in the media came and asked him if he got special treatment from the refs? Did you see that?
I did not see
Someone came up and asked him that, and I don't remember exactly what his response was, but he's like, "No, I just think that the refs." The gist of what he said was, "No, I just think that the refs are, they're trying their best out there, and they make calls for everybody or something like that." And it's like, what a dumb question to ask. You
really think he's gonna say, "Yeah, I get special"?
Yeah,
treatment?
you really think he's gonna be like, "Yeah, I talked to Roger and he told me." A couple years ago, they were like, "You're the golden boy, buddy, and if your jersey even gets a grass stain, we're throwing a flag. If someone even breathes on you wrong, it's there comes the yellow
ejection."
Like, you really think he's gonna come out and say that? What a dumb question! What a stupid question!
There was one.
Ugh.
He threw the ball one time in the game, and I'll try to find it and go back and put it in post edit, where he like really let go of the ball and he got planted and they didn't throw the flag, and I was like, ooh, I was waiting for it because he always gets those calls, it seems like, and they didn't throw it, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah. And I'm not sitting here saying that the Chiefs are bribing the refs, but that's like going and asking the business guy who is bribing the IRS or who's bribing the law enforcement to let him get away with his crimes. Are you getting special treatment from the cops? No, I'm not. I'm not at all. Like, why would you admit? Like, come. And it's not even admitting, because, like I said, it's not like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are doing anything wrong. They're just getting the benefit of some questionable calls. Is what I would say.
Well, it's like I said at the end of the season, a regular season. I go, their team has just done this forever, and they've made it to 7 straight AFC championships, but they were the ugliest 15-2 team I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was a lot of one-score games, and
said I saw that at the end of the season. I don't know who made it, but they did the flip. Like, if you flip the one-possession games, they have 3 wins.
Well, and actually, that kind of gives me hope for next year because, like, you look in baseball and you look in football too, but last year about how but you look in baseball, like last year with the Reds, not last year but the year before, they were like elite in one-score games. It was like 15, 20 games over 500.
Yeah,
won almost every single one of them. Last year couldn't win one at all. It's kind of a luck thing. It just kind of sometimes it bounces your way, sometimes it doesn't. And we saw that with the Vikings a couple years ago. They won. They were like 12-0 in one-score games, and then last year,
and then
they were awful.
The Giants were that same year.
Yeah, and then last year, crickets. Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, so hope that kind of gives me hope for next year that things are going to flip, and instead of being 13-1 in one-score games, they'll be
1-13,
6 and
1-13, just like no chance
no,
at the
no,
playoffs.
No,
chance at a 4-peat.
no. You want to know why it's a no? Because if they are 1-13 in one-score games, how good of a draft pick are they going to have? I don't want them being able to get one of the best players in the draft. No. If you're going to get one of the best players in the draft, I want you to get it at 20, 23, 25, Maybe 19, because 19 you can miss the play, or 17, something like that. If they at the draft, just outside of the playoffs, I'd be happy with that. But I don't want them to get the 5th pick. No, I don't want for them to go and get Abdul Carter.
Oh, that's right.
That would be scary. Or Mason Graham. Freaking, what's his name's getting old. Their defensive tackle. Yeah, Chris Jones. He's starting to get old. I don't want for them to bring in Mason Graham and replace him. That would be awful. That would be terrifying.
Is that all we got to say about the NFL? I know next week we can actually probably talk about the Super Bowl matchups in depth more, since we got a week off.
Let me think.
What else do we want to talk about?
I did say we could kind of talk about a little bit about the Reds, what they've done here in the off season. Because did you see that one of the baseball MLB insiders had, and this was before the Austin Hayes move, had the Reds as one of the most improved teams in Major League Baseball?
Really?
Yeah. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. It says the Reds had the worst. Hey, exactly. This is a good segue because I was literally just talking about this 1 second ago with the Chiefs. The Reds had the worst record in the major leagues in one-run decisions last year, 15-28. Ouch! 13 games under 500, and they're likely to get better just merely by moving to the means, moving back to the mean exactly. But Francona, Nick Krall, and the Reds president of operations have a more specific improvements in mind. The Reds issued too many walks last year. Additionally, they're not very good at holding runners. That's very true, allowing 123 steals. Ouch. Whew. I mean, we stole a lot too, but 123 steals is not very good. Francona also wants defenders, also wants to play better defense, and it's clear from the roster how the roster taking shape that versatility and athleticism are a priority. With Ellie De La Cruz, Gavin Lux, which we'll talk about him in a minute, Matt McClain, who it seems as though he'll be healthy.
Good. What are you looking for?
Wood. I have to knock on something. I don't think that's wood. I don't think that's
pressed
wood.
wood.
Is it?
Sure.
That's okay. There we go. I just making sure because I don't know.
Somebody better not come in the door.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? And then Santiago Espinal, who had a fantastic end of the season last year.
And then we'll get. I mean, who was the guy that was suspended for 80 games last year too?
Oh yeah. He was terrible last year, but Noel V. Marte.
Yeah.
Yeah. All those guys.
And then this was even written without Austin Hayes.
Right. Well, I think that was kind of talking about infield dudes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
The Reds have a very talented group of middle infielders. That's the very next line. So, it says when Francona spoke to Lux in the aftermath of the trade with the Dodgers earlier in the week, he agreed that he would put Lutz in spots he's most comfortable in, and that will be defined once camp comes around. The Jonathan India thing definitely kind of sucks, but bringing in left-handed or right-hander Brady Singer, who will join Hunter Green, the powerful right-hander who had a breakout season last year, that is for sure. Andrew Abbott and Nick Martinez and Nick Lodolo, that is a really good group of
Martinez,
five.
But yeah,
for sure. It's just how Buster Olney has it listed. Okay,
he needs to quit going alphabetical order.
With some more depth coming with Chase Burns, and he doesn't have Rhett Lauder on here, which is shocking. I mean, the dudes that the Reds have coming up,
right.
I could see that either of those guys taking over for Martinez anytime soon, and Martinez going to where I think he's best and most comfortable as a long reliever.
Yep. And that's not even to say, I mean, we talked about it shortly that, I mean, signing Wade Miley today to a minor league contract, he could easily be called up if needed. I mean, we had success with him when he was there, and I mean he's a proven capable pitcher. He's lasted. I'm not gonna say how long he's been in the league, but he's been in the league for a while. And your other team is number 2, Boston.
Hey, right. Okay. So that's a lot of fun. But the last thing that they say about the Reds is, by the way, Francona generally is not a big fan of bringing in guest speakers to the clubhouse. But after Francona was hired by the Reds, former Red Sox second baseman Dustin Pedroia, that's my boy, Dustin Pedroia, offered to come to Cincinnati's camp for whatever Francona needed. And Francona intends to take him up on that. Pedroia's personality, Francona noted, is a wallop of human caffeine. So I would love for him to be able to inspire some of our young players to maybe play better. That'd be great. Yeah. Number 2 is the Red Sox. Bringing in Alex Bregman, that should be huge, and a heck of a lot of fun. Garrett, they won the Garrett Crotchet sweepstakes, bringing him in, and also bringing in Walker Bueller really starting to secure a great rotation there. And then they also have Tanner Houck there, bunch of dudes that are there and in the bullpen. And, like the Red Sox, they were kind of, it's hard to say middling, right? Because how good the AL East always is.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, what, third, or did they end up coming in fourth there?
Fourth, I think.
Yeah. But it's, like I said, it's a really tough division to be able to compete in. But I thought that they played well for good stretches of the season last year.
Well,
and with adding a lot of those players, if they are able to play up to par, then I'll be happy about that.
Well, not Washington. The AL East, they were the only division that everybody was above 500. I think after the All-Star break. I mean, granted, Tampa fell apart and Boston kind of did fizzle out there towards the end, and I think they might have finished under 500. But yeah, they had all five teams above 500 at one point in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's just a very tough division. So yeah, I don't have too much else to say about a bunch of other teams, just because I don't know. I don't keep up the greatest on off-season baseball. I mean, everyone knows about the.
I don't care what else happened in the offseason. We fired David Bell. Where's that button?
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about that too. So, but hey, and that was another. I got a lot of the things that I was asking for.
I will say this,
when it comes to sports.
This is the happiest moment I've been a Reds fan in a long time going into the regular season.
I understand that, but
now, granted, if we can get through April and however many games we're playing in March this year, if we can get through that at 500, I'll be happy. If not, it's gonna be a long season again.
See, man, there was a lot of things that I wanted to happen in sports in 2024. And I was calling for them. I was asking for them all year long. One of them was the Celtics to win the championship. Got that one to happen. I wanted for the Reds to finish the season so bad that they fired David Bell. Got that one to happen.
He didn't even get to finish the season.
Yes, exactly.
3 weeks
it
early.
It just needed to be complete chaos. I mean, it just had to be some of the worst baseball that you'd ever seen, and it was. So thank you, because that's two.
You're gonna have to keep doing the show over here.
The other one, one of the other ones was chaos at the end of the college football season. Got that one.
See, you got your 3 wishes in, so you used them all.
Oh, you're right.
Damn it.
I just have to have 3 different wishes this year. You got me, Jared. I just had to be smarter about what I use them on, because one of the other ones that I wanted was Zach Taylor gone, but the Bengals had to go and
you can't
ruin
have
things
two
there.
things in one city. So I mean, you got David Bell gone, so we got to go with one of them for now.
Hopefully, no, because I don't want us to be bad again next year. Because I say hopefully Zach Taylor be gone next year, but that would only be if we were really bad, and I don't want that to happen. So I don't know. I got a lot of things that I wanted. I just couldn't get the final one. Anyways, what were we talking about before I went on that little tangent?
We were finishing up talking about the Reds and.
Oh, I think I was going to ask you about the Austin Hayes, because we actually haven't talked about. We didn't actually really talk about the Reds' moves. We just looked at that Buster Olney article.
If he can stay healthy, I mean, he was a 250, 260 hitter around that mark.
255 last year.
Okay, I'll split the difference. But the big thing is if he can stay healthy. That's the biggest thing for him.
261 on his career. Been in the league since 2019, consistently. And he just dealt with injuries last year, and that was really his main problem. But when you go and you look at his career before that, a really consistent, somewhere between 255 and 270 hitter, getting somewhere between 120 and 145 hits a year, somewhere between 25 and 35 doubles. So, he's definitely hitting it with a little bit of power too. And then his best year home runs wise was 22 home runs and a couple of 16 home run seasons. He's an athletic dude. He's an athletic outfielder, so and he's got a really strong arm. I think he'll be able to, as long as like we said, he stays healthy. I think he'll be able to have a real nice impact. So
Go back to full screen. But yeah, it's a huge piece, and it seems like last year at points we struggled in the outfield with injuries, and I mean when Stuart Fairchild, and granted I loved Stuart Little, but I mean when he has to be a leadoff hitter, it's like ugh, or not leadoff, but I mean a starting rotation player, it's like ugh, and then I don't know, maybe this might, and I know last year I harped on him a lot because he was up. When he was up, he was phenomenal. When he was down, it's like, God, put him back in the minors. Was Will Benson. So maybe having somebody there that could compete for his job in spring training might make him play better throughout the season.
well, and just having more dudes having the ability to, if they're struggling, not have to play them every day. That's a big deal. And like you said, I love Stuart Fairchild. A lot of fun to watch. It's super athletic,
Off the bench.
a great defender. But he's good against lefties, right? And then
Yes,
he can't
phenomenal
hit,
against
he
lefties.
can't hit anything against righties.
Nope.
So it's like he's a great utility dude, and because of all of the great defense that he plays, how athletic he is, and when he's going against the right side, the correct side is what I should say, the correct side of the bag, he is just a real firebrand out there on offense. But so having more dudes to make it less likely that he'll have to be out there against right-handed pitching, way better. And then or what if he gets better at hitting, and then it's like, oh, now Will Benson doesn't have to play every day type deal. And
I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
I just think adding more dudes,
Yes, that's
more
that's the
good
thing.
athletic players like the Reds have done this offseason. I think it should go a long way to be able to make a big difference this year.
And so we're going to have to work on MLB preview too.
And then Gavin Lutz can also play outfield as well. So he
Now we're going to have too many outfielders.
the three spots that he plays that he has listed is second, short, and left field. So there's some flexibility, there's some versatility.
I feel like he's going to predominantly play second.
When that's a guy that a lot of people love because he's really young and he's been productive so far. It's not like he's had the numbers to really jump off the page, but
the Dodgers,
he's
and
been
he hadn't had to produce like
right. He hasn't gotten. I mean, his most starts on a season was, I guess last year, and he played 140 games. Had 110 strikeouts, 50 RBIs, only 10 homers. So I guess he doesn't have the most power.
Hey,
but
110 strikeouts in 140 games. I'll take that.
Right.
That's a little bit just
On 110 hits, hitting 250.
Still, that means it's averaging just under a hit a game.
Yeah, no, I'm not complaining.
Right. Yeah.
He's a guy who's just not gonna be an automatic out, and it felt like at times the Reds had a lot of that last year. Right. I mean, I feel like there were times. I feel like all season long, if the Reds just the whole lineup up and down 250, they would have won somewhere between 10 and 20 more games because of how good the pitching was. It just, the offense just wasn't there at all. I'm just scared that it's going to be like, it just seems like it's always something with the Reds. 2 years ago, couldn't pitch for nothing, even though we still had a bunch of
I was about to say,
good pitchers.
3 out of the 4 we have are still the same.
Yeah, but we couldn't pitch for nothing.
Nope.
But we had the best offense in the league. Last year, we had one of the best pitching staffs in the league, and then we couldn't hit anything. So
just get a happy medium. We'll have like the 10th best offense and 10th best pitching.
I wouldn't be too upset with that. And Ellie will be a year older. Should be a year better. Hopefully, be able to rack up a few more steals. Did he end up getting the 30-30 last year?
No,
he
I
missed
needed
it by
him
a
to
hair.
hit 2 more home runs.
Oh,
so
he's definitely going to get it this year. I feel like.
Let's work on your power a little bit, Ellie.
His accuracy.
That's true.
Become a better. He's just got to continually become a better hitter.
Yeah.
So,
if Ellie, if he can go and limit the game and when he was in his slumps, if he could not go like 0 for 5 with 4 Ks 3 times a week and produce those into 2 and 3 hit performances and a couple RBIs, he could be an MVP favorite.
Well, and the wild part about that, even with all of that, is he only actually had one bad month of the season last year. Every other month he was hitting over 250. And it was an atrocious month. He was sitting somewhere around 200. I think it was May.
Okay, so still at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, second week of the season.
If the Reds could just start in June, we'd be fine.
That's for sure. Well,
just simulate to the first.
And that
half.
was almost the most frustrating part about last season. As I guess we're gonna wrap up here. That was almost one of the most frustrating parts about last season is the fact that they actually did get off to a good start. You know, it wasn't like a great start, but the first month they were above 500, and then just completely dropped the ball in May.
13-game losing streak.
Yeah.
8-game losing streak.
Those West Coast trips, man. They make you or they break you.
They broke us.
Wow.
They always seem to break it.
Hey, we got Terry Francona now. He in Boston is known for breaking curses. So let's hope that
he did it for the Guardians.
Yeah, as
too.
well.
He
So
ended their drought.
let's hope and pray that he can do something in Cincinnati as well.
I hope so. So we've got on the docket. We've got NFL draft to work on. We've got.
Well, hey, I'm always ready for that. So I'm looking
not
at you,
ready,
buddy.
so
I know.
I'm not.
Put in the work.
Don't do so much work in rounds 5 through 7. I'm just staying in the first 2.
No, because everyone knows about the guys in the first 2. You need to go and find guys in rounds 3, 4, and 5 that are very talented.
We've got MLB previews. Not necessarily.
Those are the gems.
We're going to work on all the teams, but maybe specifically the Reds, probably the Red Sox if you want to talk about them, and maybe
Sure.
the divisions. Because I hate the Cardinals.
True.
We still got to get to college basketball. I don't know if anybody saw my posts last night on Facebook.
I saw you and Jeff not really going rounds because he didn't comment anything back, but I do. I don't necessarily disagree with him. Like who are y'all gonna go get? Like, and I don't know. I really don't. But I don't know. Like, I'm kind of happy seeing Dayton fall apart. It's fun. And it's fun for me.
Yeah. Hey, we beat UConn, you beat UConn, so I guess that's fine.
Hey.
But that sounds
Sadly, we still have to play them again.
Oh.
Well, we're in their division or their conference. So.
Oh, I didn't know if you played them twice already or not.
I don't think we played them the first time. Or I think that was the first time. I don't know. But, yeah, I guess that's going to do it for this week's episode of Play-by-Play. We will definitely be getting to college basketball and the NBA. I'd say probably next week.
I was about to say, it kind of works out that this way because, I'll watch the NBA, but I don't really follow it until right after the All-Star break. So.
Well, and a bunch of trade deadline stuff is kind of starting to heat up.
Oh, is it more involving players now? Because all I've seen like last week is picks for picks.
Jimmy Butler is
suspended. I did see that.
Suspended again. De'Aaron Fox might be going to the Spurs. There's a lot going on. Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely got to catch up on all the trade deadline buzz. And like we said, we'll get into college basketball next week too. I'm gonna have some more free time. It's starting to look like. So I'll actually be able to watch some college basketball and some NBA. Be able to get caught up on the league and everything. So, yeah, that's going to do it here for episode number 134 of Play-by-Play. It's been fun, guys. Don't forget to like the show on all the social media platforms and share the post. We'll see you guys in episode number 135.